Now, arresting someone is one thing, but invading a country to do that, that's a whole different legal universe. That's what Trump did with the Venezuelan president, and he may not stop at that. Less than 2 days after abducting Nicolas Maduro, Trump seems to be training his guns on the others. He has a hit list of sorts. Let me pull up a world map to show you. Trump has already got Venezuela. His next target could be Colombia. Colombia is the 4th largest country in South America. It has a population of 52 million. Colombia, too, has substantial oil reserves. It also has silver, gold, and copper deposits and natural resources. Colombia's president is a man called Gustavo Petro. He is the country's first left-wing president, and Trump does not like him. He calls Petro a sick man selling cocaine. Listen to this.
Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long?
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and...
It sounds good to me. Yeah. You know why? Because they kill a lot of people, yeah.
So Trump has a problem with the Colombian president. He accuses him of running cocaine mills and factories, and he doesn't rule out a U.S. operation in Colombia. How has Colombia reacted to this? With outrage, of course. President Gustavo Petro has asked Donald Trump to stop slandering him. He says he's willing to take up arms if push comes to shove. The next country on this list is Cuba, the country of Fidel Castro. Cuba has a population of 11 million people. It has survived U.S. sanctions for decades. Their current president is Miguel Diaz-Canel, and he may be on Washington's hit list. Although it wasn't Donald Trump who first mentioned Cuba, it was Marco Rubio, the U.S. Secretary of State. Rubio said Cuba could be in a lot of trouble. And when Trump was asked about it, here's how he responded.
Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
No direct invasion threat like Colombia, because Trump thinks that Cuba will fall on its own. You just heard him. Nonetheless, his comments are enough to keep the country on edge. Then we have Mexico. Mexico is America's immediate neighbor. It has a population of 129 million. Their president is Claudia Sheinbaum. Mexico has been in focus ever since Trump imposed steep tariffs on them. He started with 50% tariffs, then reduced it to 30%, and now Trump wants to send troops into Mexico.
And by the way, you have to do something with Mexico. Mexico has to get their act together because they're pouring through Mexico, and we're going to have to do something. We'd love Mexico to do it. They're capable of doing it. But unfortunately, the cartels are very strong in Mexico.
I remember one time you actually, speaking of Mexico, I asked you about Claudia Sheinbaum, and you told me at one point you had offered to send U.S. troops into Mexico to combat drug trafficking there. Is that something you have spoken to her about?
I think she's a terrific person. I would say every single time I talk to her, I offered to send troops.
And she's just not willing?
She's concerned. She's a little afraid. The cartels are running Mexico. Whether you like it or not, it's not nice to say, but the cartels are running Mexico.
So Mexico has a drug cartel problem. These drugs are flowing into the U.S. Trump wants to stop that, and for that he wants to send troops. Again, there's no direct threat like Colombia, but whatever has been said is enough to keep the Mexicans worried. Now, most of these countries we mentioned on Trump's hit list are in Latin America, basically in Washington's backyard. But there's one that is located some 3,500 kilometers away. I'm talking about Greenland. It's the world's largest island. Greenland is part of Denmark, but it runs as an autonomous territory. It has oil, gas, and rare earth mineral reserves. It is also a gateway to the Arctic. The U.S. already has a military base there, but Trump wants the entire island. And he's been fixated on it for a while now. He keeps talking about Greenland. Then last year, in 2025, Trump's son visited Greenland. And yesterday, Katie Miller posted this. It's a map of Greenland with the U.S. flag over it. And who is Katie Miller? She is the wife of Stephen Miller, who was a top aide to the U.S. president. So you could say this is very much the administration's line. And if there was any doubt, Donald Trump himself made it clear. Listen to this.
Won't worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days. By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
I think it's a big
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
So Trump wants Greenland. Will he send troops to invade the island too? And if he does, how would that play out? Because, like I said, Greenland is part of Denmark and Denmark is a NATO country. The US too is a NATO country. Technically, they're allies. They literally signed a treaty promising to protect each other from attacks. NATO has something called Article 5, which says an attack on one NATO member will be considered an attack on all. So what happens when one NATO nation invades another? If Trump attacks Denmark, will other NATO countries fight the United States? It will be a diplomatic disaster at best and the end of the military alliance at worst. And while Trump talks about invading all these other countries, what happens to Venezuela? What does the international law say? As you may know, in 1945, World War II nearly broke the planet. So countries came together and they said no more random invasions, no more forced regime changes, and they signed the United Nations Charter. One of its most important rules is Article 2.4. It tells you when a country is allowed to attack another. 1, when such an attack is supported by the UN. And 2, when national security is under threat. Now, in this case, in Venezuela's case, neither condition was met. So what the US did in Venezuela is a crime of aggression. It's the most serious violation in international law. How will Washington defend this? The thing is, it doesn't have to. Because the UN Security Council is the only global body that can impose sanctions for aggression. And guess who sits on the UN Security Council? The US itself. It has the veto power, meaning if you try to sanction the United States, Washington can and will veto it. And this sets another dangerous precedent. If one powerful country breaks rules and faces no consequences, others start taking note. What stops China from invading Taiwan? What stops Russia from kidnapping Zelensky? Who makes the rules and who gets to break them? So it's not just about which country Trump targets next. It's about what kind of world he's trying to normalize.